Hello, Andrea. Today we have the age-old question from watching Family Practice Mysteries coming home. Are you a dog person or are you a cat person?
Well, you know I'm a cat person.
And you know I'm a dog person.
Let's get ready to battle.
Let's go. This is Eric.
This is Andrea.
And this is Hallmark Mysteries
And more.
This podcast was created by fans for fans and is not affiliated with or sponsored by Hallmark or the Hallmark channel.
Okay, a little recap.
What's this movie all about?
Family Practices Coming Home. A former army surgeon moves back to her hometown and joins a practice of family doctors. But when she's drawn into solving the mysterious death of a patient, her quiet life becomes upended. All right, this was released first on the app. And so I watched it there, a few weeks ago. Before we record, I try to watch the mysteries at least twice. So I gave this another go. And usually when I give it a second go, these tend to go higher for me. I usually appreciate it more. This one did the opposite. I went lower. So I started the first viewing. I was like, oh, it's okay. 3 out of 5. And then after watching it again, it is now a 2 out of 5 for me. A lot of it was because I zoned out. I zoned out the first time and I just thought, oh, maybe I was just tired and I just missed it. But then when I did it again, I mean, I was watching it, but I'm like, it was kind of boring to me in a lot of places. And so that's the kiss of death for me, is if it's a little too slow, a little too boring, I have trouble getting into the movies. So I love Brandon Penny. He might be one of my new favorite Hallmark stars. I will preface with that. So even with him in this movie.
Wait. When you say when your new favorite, as a result of this movie or some things recently?
No, I would say the recent movies that he's been in. Like he's now a rising Hallmark star for me because I did watch him in Chesapeake Shores and I really appreciated his character there. And I feel like he's just getting better with each movie. And so I was really excited. I'm like, yes, let's have him in a mystery, an ongoing series. But, okay, and this is someone, I hate talking bad about the actors in particular. Amanda Schull's character could not get into that character. So a lot of the times I'm like, hey, can I be friends with them? Do I want to like hang out with them? Like Goldie. She seems like a delight. She would be kind of a fun, quirky, playful energy. Amanda Schull's character.
Or who else on that show would be fun to hang out with?
Gosh, I don't know. Detective Tom? No, I'm just kidding.
I will drop it early, Marla. Go ahead. I get your drift.
Yeah, so for me, would I want to be friends with her? She seemed very Haley Dean, as we had just Haley Dean. I was thinking Haley Martin. That's a different series. But Haley Dean, she was very just serious and just kind of like one note for me. I need a little bit more range with the character. But then when I was thinking, I'm like, maybe that's just her acting style, because then I was thinking of some of the Christmas movies she was in, and it was a very similar character that she played. And then my sister-in-law happened to send me a DM when I said I was going to review this movie, and she said, oh, the girl from Suits. And then I happened to ask, does she play the character very serious and kind of a little stiff? And she goes, actually, yes. So then I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. So I'm not sure if maybe it's me and I guess I'm not a big fan of her. I went in thinking I love her, and then I came out thinking I don't know what I think about this anymore.
So what's funny is I'll say yes, her character I found being pretty, well, I'll get into what I found her character being. But I actually disagree. I thought she had like a bunch of good little quips in there, whatever. Where like when it's like at the dog and cat at the beginning, she just like, oh, no, I'm not talking to you, or I can't believe you did that. Or when they're flirting, I thought she did like little things in there that were quite nice. But I will give you, yes, if you look at the overall character, it was, yes, pretty that with these like little bursts of hope. But overall,
yeah, I thought, she had some quick little fun little well, we'll get to that, the romantic one, but again, overall, I felt like to me, this movie felt it was filmed a little darker. Did you notice that? Like the
Yeah.
setting wise, it felt like darker energy. It felt like a quiet mystery in general to me. It wasn't like a hey in your face. Besides the one running scene where she jumped back, like that was kind of fun. Like that was the only like
Are you
woo.
talking about in the parking lot?
Yeah, when the
Uh,
person ran by her, like and like startled, that was the only like exciting moment. I feel like this was just kind of just a slow burning quiet mystery, so I really struggled to get into it, and I discovered maybe these aren't personally my favorite. I know a lot of people love this one, but for me, it left a little to be desired. So let's get ready, rumble. I'm a cat person, you're a dog person. What do you think?
I gave it a 2.5,
What? I am
and
what? I
it
thought
just
you would love this.
nope, nope. We
Wow.
kinda talked about it when we first watched it on the app. I sent you, I think, a text saying
Wow.
complained about it, and you just were told me I was being silly, but I will say I actually, opposite of you, I enjoyed the 2 characters who I think they have potential to be pretty good characters. I do agree though that I think the script and the actual ironically mystery
Oof.
bogged them down, right? If you can get rid of the mystery portion of the movie, I thought they were both like really fun and liked them. So maybe put them in a rom-com. I don't know. Because the mystery element for me didn't work. And once again, this is a mystery. We'll get into it in our mystery, minute and stuff. But it killed me the first time and it killed me the second time with her just being a horrible doctor, walking around, violating HIPAA to like anybody, like, pretty much people getting off the bus. Hey, do you know this guy had good cholesterol? What? Like, you just can't do that as a medical professional. And then going into the funeral home and say, "Hey, he was my patient. Do you mind if I just head back there?" And of course, the funeral director says yes. Like stuff like that, I can say, okay, we're in Hallmark universe. We suspend belief. We know it's not all accurate. But when it just says, "Hey, be an idiot to believe us," maybe that's being harsh, but it was just so much that I just couldn't get into that aspect of it. And then we go over to Detective Jack, who, once again, when he's being all flirty and fun, liked the guy. When he's being what's supposed to be a cop, he was ridiculous because, first of all, he's like, "Oh, hey, you can use go look at the laptop as long as you leave it in the evidence room." I mean, okay, doesn't that like kind of probably ruin whole chain of evidence thing? Like sending some rando person, then he's encouraging her to go and snoop. And, on the dinner date, he asks her, "Hey, have you heard anything from the coroner?" Like, if you are a cop, shouldn't they maybe calling you? But no, lo and behold, the phone rings, and who do they call? They call her. And she's supposed to tell the cop what the coroner report says. So, like, all that stuff for me, just too much. But then, and I'm surprised you didn't mention it because we talked about this before, it had way too much going on. Like, what was the point of
I
having the
was gonna
vet
bring that up
the
after.
vet dude and, like,
I was just gonna ask you about that one.
throw all that out?
Yeah,
If it was
yeah.
supposed to be to introduce the dog, great, but then have the dog in the damn movie, right? The dog had one scene other
So this
than
is
I
what I'm
think there.
thinking what they would do. So since that was kind of in the synopsis that I read, I'm like, are they just gonna so they maybe want to tie in military to a mystery and then every movie she finds a vet and then she helps him
Uh,
reintroduced into civilian
that
life. Like that's the only thing I could think that maybe they're going to try to do with this movie series. But then we all have
maybe.
to care. But then I agree with you.
But
It's
then they're
just a
gone.
weird story plot to throw in there. Like,
It's all this
where are we going
energy
with
and
this?
effort and time that they could have put into developing these characters better. And if okay, if you're going to do
And a
that,
better mystery overall.
great. but then don't have the kids with their extra story in there with the cheerleading and dorky boy thing, right? Do one or the other. You don't have enough time in 124 minutes to have two extra stories. So it just distracted from me. Didn't like it. We can go to back to our the way home, and maybe Nikki the dog was my favorite character of the movie, but actually I do have another one who I enjoyed, but I just think they spent way too much valuable time. And you know who I think they should have done? They shouldn't have had the kids, they shouldn't have had the vet, and I'm surprised you didn't mention her. Melody, our however you pronounce your Aruverida
Ayurveda.
ways.
I'm saving her. I'm bringing her up.
Okay,
Don't you worry.
but, like, loved her. They should have had more of her and less of the vet, because she's gonna be an ongoing character, so let us get to know her. I'm ranting now, but so that's why
Wow.
2.5, and the 2.5 for
Wow.
me is probably more aligned with you, but like I said, I think if they go ahead and go, "Hmm, what did we do wrong here?" and really do a good autopsy, shall we say, on this movie and the script, hopefully they can come back and say, "Okay, we see we're revered wrong, and we can go fix that, and then make some more." Because I do think it, as a general premise, could be interesting. But
Would this make your list of like, hey, I want more from that we did last week?
would well, if it's the top 10,
Yeah.
no.
No. I was like, it would have to kick off the what you had the last,
Family
yeah.
history mystery, and
This
and
would not kick off Dancing Detective for me either. I'd keep
and there
Dancing
you
Detective.
there you go. I mean, like family history mystery, because I had that personal thing for me, right? And this one did too. I work in healthcare. I know how important HIPAA is, and so maybe I'm more like ticked off by it, but like, yeah. So there we go. All right,
Wow.
let's move
I'm
on to that.
actually very surprised at your dislike for this movie. I don't know if we've ever had one where you have really disliked something this much. So I'm
We could get
shocked.
into the what's the love mystery, the one with Danica and Victor.
Well, we did do that one. I guess that is also
Oh,
true.
we did.
I mean, besides those,
See, I
besides
blocked it.
Matchmaker,
I
yeah,
didn't.
we did
Not
that
only did
one.
I block out
We did.
the series, I blocked out that we talked about
We
it.
already talked about that. You didn't like that. So of the new
Uh,
ones, this would be on your lower end.
yeah, this like, I don't know. Like, I guess it's just, even put it this way. I know we both had our challenges with Gilded, but I don't think Gilded was
I would take another Gilded over this.
like I said, I found this one purposely insulting me at times with just, we're gonna see how far you can suspend your disbelief. And it made me not care about Hannah doing her breaking and entering, or Julie Gonzalo hopping on the uh, computer in the sheriff's thing here, because she just was time and time again doing, and I think she was impersonating an officer half the movie too. I don't know. All right, let's move on to our mystery minute before I get in trouble.
So Mystery Minute. I I thought it was really easy to solve. I mean, there really wasn't many suspects. I mean, as soon as they came on screen, you're like, well, clearly this brother-in-law and this sister-in-law,
Who
like,
pretty much said, "Hey, I'm guilty. You stay away."
I mean, like, as soon as they were on screen, and they never had anyone that was viable. And again, that was probably because we got pulled in different directions, so they never flushed
Well,
out
they had
anyone else.
the bald
Right.
guy,
And that's what I'm saying. I don't even know who he was. Like, they tried to pull us into other directions, but they didn't have enough time because they wasted it on other storylines that
right?
we didn't even know who they were. I don't know who they were. Why would I think they did it? Clearly, it was these two. That is your only options. So that fell flat on top of us not enjoying maybe the whole premise. It it's not great. I mean, if you have a bad mystery on top of a rough kind of setting and surrounding and in general story, not great if mystery is what you are going for. Like something has to be good.
And I normally love seeing Kendall Cross. I think she comes in her movies. She's one of those great secondary characters, and usually you kind of think she's like one of the ones, like our old friend from Crime
Prime time.
Time, who you just look at and you're like, Oh yeah, you're gonna be bad. But she does come in and surprise, curious cater. She turned out not to be bad. But like I usually really like her and I can be fine with it. But yeah, to your point, they just guy just came in there. It's like stay out of our business. We're guilty. We did this, so don't ruffle any feathers, right? So my notes are exactly what you said. They could have spent the time instead of all these extra stories developing this mystery better. Like you said, viable um, red herrings, like the lost son who all of a sudden appears. They could have had him come in and be like for more than a nanosecond
Mhm,
an option. Spend
mhm.
all that time doing that instead of going into the hospital bed, which I don't even know why the guy was in the hospital for a week or whatever he was. They never really like, oh, you're going to be held overnight, and then lo and behold, it's like days and days. So
Well, what about romance? How'd that go for you?
oh, this one was romance. Like while we have the slow burn in some of the other ones, this one they came hot and heavy at each other and were right from the onset flirting. And that final one when they're making the chicken parm, I think she invited him over because she's like pretty much saying, "Hey kids, this is your new dad. He's moving in." And stuff like that. I thought they just I'm surprised they didn't kiss in this one because they went on a date. She looked really cute in our date, but they flirted at the beginning, flirted in the middle, and we're pretty much like, "Hey, I'm into you. I'm into you." There's no sexual tension like will they, won't they, which we always know they will, but no, they came hot and heavy.
Hmm. I didn't see. I mean, I like the little cute flirty
At the
like
very end, they even said, "I like you. I like you."
I know, but like this again, it's Hallmark. So like to me, this is going to be then dragged out because then she's going to be like, oh, but then my husband, I'm not ready to move on,
Maybe
and
he's not
then
really dead and he's coming back from prison camp.
no, but then we'll find out like he has something hidden in his past and he's not over his ex, and then they're going to drag that out for a few movies. Like that's what would be coming
I
down the
hope not.
pipeline.
Because that's the one
So
thing for me that saved the movie was the 2 of them together.
I mean, I thought they were fine together. I don't think it was. I
You
didn't see the sparks that you
you
did.
did get my joke, by the way, did you not? The
But I
5
probably
minutes
ignored it.
the 5 minutes more whatever one when, um, Erin Cahill does a great movie until the final 10 minutes when it turns out her husband
The bedtime.
actually has been in yeah, bedtime stories, whatever.
That was rough.
Yeah, that's
That was
what this is
rough.
probably will be with if you're right. They'll bring
Oof.
him back.
Well, that's about
Now
all
you
for
just
my
put me now I'm
romance.
in this a bad mood.
Sorry. Sorry.
But
Well,
it's
what
gonna
about
get
characters? Who's your highlight
it gets
character?
rescued. Avery Smith, the newspaper guy.
Oh, I was like, who's that?
You know why? Because he is Zach Warner in the Chronicles, where he's the intern, the final one. What's the final one called?
Hmm.
Help to Death when they go off in the
The
retreat.
retreat. That's my
He's
favorite.
the he's like, but he's the intern who just comes into the newspaper. So I was hoping he had the same name. That it was like, oh, now he's advanced his career, and now instead of
Well,
being like the
that would
lowly
be
intern,
clever.
he's a newspaper editor and all that sort of stuff. But he was not. But
Oh.
regardless, because of that connection to Chronicle, and yes, I know I like Chronicle way more than you do. I just looked at him and I'm like, you're a good dude. I like you. Be in the movie more.
Oh, no, that would have
And
been
he
really
made
clever.
sense, by the way, unlike Mr. Vet or whoever. He made sense.
Yeah, because they need those supporting people that they talk to that are going to be reoccurring in the
Right,
movies.
right.
Totally agree. I
And I
would love
knew
to.
I
I would
didn't
have
want to
loved to
steal
see more of
yours,
them.
by the way. But I still was gonna go with him anyhow because he was fantastic. He was fun.
Well, mine was the vet. No, I'm just kidding. No, mine was Melody, the receptionist. She talked about reading auras,
Right?
meditating, drinking coffee. I just loved her vibe. Now, for me and her would be best friends. So she was very much eh, like myself in a nutshell, with her maybe out
I
there
will
to
say
some
I was
people.
thinking about you as soon as she did her first line.
I got
I'm
my
like
crystals right
I'm
here in
like,
front of my
"Oh
computer.
my, Andrea's gonna love her." And then she didn't slow down on it. She
Nope,
kept going. So
nope.
I'm like, "Yep."
Yeah, so I need more melody. I would love, I think I wrote in my review, I haven't posted yet. I'll, as this airs, I was waiting till it airs to kind of share my thoughts about it. So I was like, um, I need a movie with her. Like she needs to be the star in a mystery series. I will take her as lead. Like maybe we can kind of switch that out and Brandon Penny and Melody can make it work. That would be great. So that was kind of my thoughts. She was by far my standout character, besides Brandon, which I liked him. I don't know if I liked his
Okay, wait, wait.
character a
When
ton,
we
but I
say
like him as an
like,
actor.
are we saying like with air quotes and that you think he's hot, or you actually
No.
just like his acting and stuff?
No, I like his acting. Like, I don't
Okay.
there's very few that I'm like, "Oh, yeah." Like, I look past, I guess, the physical when I'm looking at, like, the Hallmark people. There's very few that I'm like, "Oh, yeah, this one does it for me." Like, that's just not how I view my Hallmark people. I don't know why. That's just my own same with the NBA. Like, I see them as like, "Yes, let's go. Let's go, Timberwolves." I had to throw in my Timberwolves, so just had to get that in. We're still playing.
Okay.
So what
Uh,
about trivia? What do you got for us?
okay. The cat and dog study is real.
Oh, that they shared?
Yes. So I'm going to say about it. Researchers examining the difference between dog people and cat people found that feline fans scored higher on intelligence tests and are more introverted, open minded, and sensitive. On the other hand, dog people are more outgoing and energetic and prefer to follow the rules, which I found kind of weird. But here's the kicker: this survey was based on 600 college students. So anybody who knows anything about statistics and doing surveys knows that is such a closed sample of not the population that I throw it away, because you're looking at people in college who having a dog, you can have a cat so much easier when you're in college, and you can keep it in your dorm room. You can do whatever. You can leave for the weekend and go down to Mexico and come back no problem. Whereas if you have a dog, you have to have responsibility, and college kids aren't responsible. So this whole study gets thrown out.
How many kids did you know in college that had cats?
I had a cat our
In your dorm
freshman
room?
year in our dorm until we got
What?
caught.
I didn't know
Yeah.
anyone who had a cat
I
or a
will
dog in college.
okay, everybody in the on the podcast, I will share a picture of my college cat. I don't
And
remember what his name was. Then we had a dog named Buffett, and then we got given a rabbit who we named Jimmy. And they lived together for like 2 years. This was the horniest rabbit ever, by the way. It would always try humping the dog. But then one day we came on home, and Jimmy decided he had enough, and or excuse me, Buffett decided she had enough, and we no longer had a rabbit. Sad
this is
story.
in college?
This was in college, yeah.
None of my friends, I don't know anyone who had any pets in college. Like, that is a big responsibility. Apparently, I went to a very unresponsible college.
So,
Oh,
but
well,
yes,
that is
should not have had pets. Should not have been responsible for a human, not a human, but a living being, because yes, it yeah, the
poor
dog seemed to
choices
have
were
a good
made.
life, but whatever. So yes, so there you go. The trivia, that study was real, but once again, I don't find it sound because it used too small of a sample, too
Mm.
narrow of a sample.
Well, my trivia isn't that great, but Brandon Penny, when he was in high school, he wrote and performed sketch comedy, which
Seriously, because he doesn't seem like a
I
funny
was just
guy.
gonna say, I'm like, in most of his Hallmark roles, I would have never guessed that because he plays more of a serious role in
Yeah, yeah.
basically everything. So apparently he does have some comedic timing and some I would like to see that in
I
more
was
of his
like,
movies.
maybe we should hang out with him sometime to see if he's hilarious.
I mean, hey, have him on the pod. I'd like to chat with him.
Yeah, I don't think he does much of this stuff. So,
I know. I'm
like
just putting it out there.
he posts twice a year on social, and it's like the week of his movies being
Movies.
released.
Oh well.
All right,
Well,
who are you gonna chill to? What Jessica Fletcher movie, show, whatever should we reference right now?
I'm gonna let everyone down. I don't have one. So I'm not sure if it's
She
because
never hung out with a doctor who helped
yeah,
solve a
Seth
case.
Hazlitt. So Seth Hazlitt is the town doctor. But when I'm like going through my head, did this movie so often when I watch these movies, I get an instant hit. This is the episode it reminds me of. I got nothing with this one. Maybe it's because I didn't like it, and I find, like, all the movies that I don't like, I can't think of a Murder She Wrote episode because I love that so much, and the one that I could maybe tie it to is one of my favorite Murder She episodes, so no, that's not gonna get tied to this movie. So the 2 that came to mind.
You're not gonna bring it down to the karma, huh?
No, not going to. I actually have 2 shows. So the small town doctor feel, that little office, Virgin River. So I know we've talked about that before, but they have a little
Okay,
house doctor that they go
right.
to. And then the Heart of Dixie, another small town house doctor. It's the same doctor actually in both series. But that is, or the same actor who plays both of those doctors. That's the only vibes that I could get. I like that small town doctor, like, oh, let's go to the house. That's kind of what I had growing up in my small town. We had a little, it wasn't a house, but it was a very small little office just like that. So those are the vibes that I got. What about you?
Alright. Well, we mentioned it earlier. I gave it family history mysteries only because I found it a similar type kind of movie that potentially be based on the leads has some potential to be good, but just didn't land. So
I can see
probably
that.
if you liked this, you probably, I would guess, would like that one. Seemed kind of comparable along the whole sleuther scale, so to speak.
And honestly, those are two of my least favorite, this one and
Yeah.
that one.
Well,
So
then,
if you
right.
did, if
It
you
didn't
didn't like
land
this
with
one, you
you.
probably aren't going to like that one either.
Exactly. Or if you didn't like that one, you probably wouldn't like this. So
Yeah.
whatever. And then you may get a little upset at me, so other people I know will, but the original Aurora Tea Garden, only insofar as I found her in
Interesting.
this one, her sleuthing just very in your face, like just way over the top, sl- nosy buddy, whatever. At least like the other ones sort of are a little clever about the way they do it, or kind of get the little small talk going as opposed to just going in the room and saying, tell me this or whatever that, like just overbearing. And I found her character to be kind of that way when she was doing her sleuthing. And that's exactly how I find the original Aurora, who just will go in and kind of bully people into whatever, demand you tell me that information. So you may like it.
Well, what about
It's
fan
not the
corner?
same kind of, sorry, it's not the same kind of mystery by any means, but just the same sleuther style. Alright,
What did you hear? Anything from people?
well, I got something else that's maybe,
Oh,
why don't you do yours? I've got one about the whole show. We
oh,
got a nice little message on the website, so I'm gonna
that's
share
nice.
that.
Okay.
You give us our poll results first.
Okay. So here are the results. 5 out of 5. Loved it. Can't wait for more. Second lowest rating. So if we're thinking about this, it's at 19%.
So a quarter or a fifth, whatever, 20%. Yeah.
4 out of 5, it was good, which was at 39%. So the majority was there. 3 out of 5, middle of the road, 29%. And then 1/2, not my favorite, 13%. So this was probably one of the most all over results that we've had for a mystery,
So people
which
liked it more than we did.
people did like it more than we did. And it also, but again, I, I don't remember. I have to, because I save all of these on my Instagram profile. And then if you click on fan favorites, you can kind of see past results. I'm going to have to scroll through and see if we've had anything this all over the map. I mean, it really is kind of some loved, some hated, very middle of the road. I mean, it was an interesting poll result. I was kind of surprised by this one. So I don't
Yeah,
know. What do you, at this
I
point,
I think if people were more like us and did it the multiple view, it would go down.
go down? Yeah.
Because like I said, the I watched it the first time and I was just had some annoying things, but then I watched it that second time and it annoyed me more than the first
Same.
time. And like you dropped there. I think a lot of people when you go through, Amanda Schull is she's just comes across, I think she comes across as a likable person, but then when
Totally.
you really absorb that character, it kind of distracts. Like you said, Brandon Perry, he or Penny, he's once again kind of a, if anyone doesn't like him, you kind of also will go back to your kittens. You probably don't like kittens, right? Like I don't like cats, but I like kittens. They're cute, right? So they're just I think people would probably get a little absorbed with them, but then when they actually go back and scrutinize the mystery, I don't think it holds up.
No, I mean, it's a tough rewatch, and again, as I said, this is about what I love watching mysteries again. Not gonna watch this one again.
Yeah, I agree.
It's kind of I'm done. So tell
Well,
us your fan quarter.
oh, yes. So we got a little message, which was really nice. Usually on the website, we just get a whole bunch of people trying to sell us SEO. But for this one, Janice Marshall sent us a nice little message saying, the format of your show is easy to follow when I'm out walking in the morning. Besides giving fair analysis, which I don't know if this is fair analysis, of the movies and little tidbits
Our
of
honest
what to
take.
expect in future um, are Easter eggs. I'm not quite sure how that came across, but so they liked whatever she likes the format and how we hit some little fun things. P.S. Both of you should be the chief Hallmark officers for a mystery channel. And
Ooh.
then a PPS. I'm excited because I just heard there will be Christmas Murder series starring Sarah Drew called Mistletoe Murders, both of which you already knew. Which, by the way, I don't know if you listened to it on Audible. I listened to it. Georgia told me about it last year, and it's like you have to listen to this. So I listened to it, and it is really cute, really cute. So I'm hoping that it does translate. It's 2 seasons, so I don't know how it's going to fit into a movie, which is how I understood this to be. So we'll see how they do it. But the premise of it is pretty cute. So looking forward to that. But I found it really nice that it is always lovely when people say they like the podcast. So it's a very
100%.
nice thing. So thank you, Janice.
And also shout out, I mean, I got mailed a TV guide that has Jessica Fletcher
The
on
maiden.
it. Yes. And so I have my Murder She Wrote and it's from the actual 1980s. So I have it sitting right here on my shelf. I love it.
That
So
is
thank you.
absolutely awesome.
Thank you. I mean, made my day. So
No
well,
one,
what are
no
we
one's, no
watching
one's mailed
next?
me anything. Jeez,
Well,
probably
this was
I could
like
probably get the flaming bag of poop on the doorstep.
well, I mean,
Um,
you like yours are people, so you can't mail you Brooke Burns or Marla.
all of a sudden, Brooke Burns is wrapped up in a thing.
That would be
Yeah, I go. To,
awkward.
I guess I'd go to jail for most of
I was
of
gonna
my
say
things. So
yours
we
is a
won't.
little
No one.
tougher.
No one send me my
No.
requests.
Oh,
But all right. Well, on to bigger and better and hopefully more exciting things. Next week, we are going to leave Hallmark World for a week. It's going to be,
Hallmark adjacent.
yes, Hallmark adjacent, but it's going, actually, if you look at all the Hallmark actors who have been on there, it's probably not that far adjacent. But it is going into the long weekend for most people. So we thought, hey, give a chance to watch something new and different. And we are going to watch and review the Monk movie over there on Peacock. So it should be
The
fun.
Monk. Now, if you've never seen Monk, so I have watched this movie and I've also seen all of the episodes of Monk. I will say you can give it a go. I think as a standalone movie, it's you would still appreciate it. If you actually have watched Monk, even a few episodes, you probably are going to appreciate it a little bit more. But I would say if you're thinking, "Oh, I've never watched Monk," or if you hate, I know there's a lot of people who don't like Monk as well. Maybe skip it. It's a little different. Well, I will save my take for next week. Have you watched this, Eric?
I have not.
Oh, you haven't.
I have not seen, unlike you, I've not seen all the monks. I've seen
Okay.
a chunk of monk,
Okay.
but I will say I enjoy them. I find them fun. And I listen to this one mystery podcast that has nothing to do with like TV mysteries per se. It's more of a literature one. And what was interesting is they brought up Monk as a excellent example of quality mystery uh, structure
Mm,
and just how they structure the mysteries throughout Monk. And there's like, I guess there's like, I don't know, like 6 or 7 ways you can structure a mystery. And they do it in Monk and they do it according to this, once again, person has nothing to do with the TV stuff. They're mostly books, but said Monk. writing and the way they craft mysteries is absolutely fantastic if you're a sleuther. So looking forward to it. I find Monk
Maybe
fun. His, the sidekick, the whatever, the blonde who's on it
the first one or
is.
the second one?
Oh, I did not know there
Sharona
was. I did not know there was a
or
second one. It's probably the first one.
Sharona?
I thought she would be great to be like in Hallmark rom coms, but I was thinking probably they're so old that now she's probably not the main rom com age, so she'd be.
That would be a good I'll look up to see whatever happened to Sharona or why she left Monk. We'll save that for some trivia for
There we
next
go.
week
There's
because
some
that would
trivia.
be
But I
interesting. Yeah,
I
she
thought she
did
was like
leave
so
and
cute, and she's the cute and bubbly, right? Is that the first one? So yeah, I
yeah,
thought she'd be great, but
the
we'll
curly
see.
haired.
So yeah,
That's
so we'll see how
Sharona.
it goes. All right,
Interesting.
but I have not seen it. I will be watching it this weekend, and I will watch it again this weekend, so we can be ready for the review.
Yay. Yeah,
All right, Andrea.
Natalie Teeger is the second one who comes in. So you probably haven't seen her and her daughter.
So she's in the movie.
She's in the later, maybe if seasons 4 and beyond. So
Okay.
she is the one in the movie. So stay
All right.
tuned. Yay. All right.
Well,
Well, we'll see you.
I hope your basketball goes better than the mystery.
Oh, yeah. We got to continue to roll. Let's go, Wolves.
On that note, have a good night, Andrea.
Good night.